When you're a vegan non-drinker whose entire diet consists of eating bananas, it's hard to find people you have a lot in common with. The same is true in music. One thing that I've learned in my fretboard journey was it's really important to kind of find things that the different notes in a scale have in common. So that is what we are focusing on today. Different commonalities off of 6 root notes in the most beautiful key on earth, the key of A major. Speaking of pure beauty, today's video is sponsored by Original Grain Watches. I'm wearing the sickest watch of all time. It's in this pro red color. We're going to talk about this because I'm going to have a discount code for you in the description. The cheapest you'll ever be able to get a sick watch like this. It comes in this ridiculous case. This is insane for a watch. We're going to talk more about that, but let's talk about the notes that we're doing, okay? So in the major scale, any major scale you want to play, it starts with this, right? If we're doing it in the key of A major, we just go 2 frets higher, then 2 frets higher again. So 5, 7, 9. And then the exact same thing on the string below it. 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 9. If you want to get fancy, you can add the 7th degree and then go home again. But we're actually going to focus on those 6 notes because they have so much in common with each other that is really going to open up the fretboard for you. And this is going to work anywhere you start. If you want to do the people's key, the key of G, you just start on the 3rd fret and then just do the same thing. All right? So, starting off, we have to assign a chord class to each one of these 6 notes, all right? So, think of the numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's helpful to know the names of the notes. It's not super it's essential for what we're talking about today, but it is A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, okay? So, assigning a class to the chords, easiest way to do that is the 1, 4, and 5. 1, skip 2 and 3, 4, 5 are major chords, and then 2, 3, and 6 are minor chords. Okay? So that is where a lot of this is going to come from, but there's so much more that you can do with this aside from just playing them as major and minor chords. Okay? So however it helps you to think of 1, 4, 5 as major, 2, 3, 6 is minor, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor. However you can come up with remembering that this one's major, this one and this one are minor, this one and this one are major, and this one is minor. That's the first thing that we have to do, okay? The next thing is we're going to skip ahead to the minor chords. So we're going to start on the 2, the 3, and the 6, specifically just the 2 and the 3 here. This is where we're going to utilize something that I know you already know about, the minor pentatonic scale position, okay? So, starting on B, it looks like this. 7, 10, 7, 9, 7, 9, 7, 9, 7, 10, 7, 10. Now, these aren't all the notes in the A major scale, starting on a B. This would be the B Dorian mode, if you're fancy like that. And if you're wearing a watch, I know that you're fancy. But are you fancy enough to wear an original grain watch? We'll talk about that in just a second. The minor pentatonic scale works over any minor root note. So this and this share that same scale shape, okay? Now, how that helps us, how this commonality helps us in playing is you can repeat any minor pentatonic riff or lick right after each other 2 frets up. So for example, here's something, I'm just going to play something that's going to go A, B minor to C sharp minor, something like this. So something like that. I'm really just kind of jumping back and forth between a chord, and then maybe I'll just start with that first one. That's like a super, super easy one, right? Because if I go, again, here's B minor pentatonic position. I can just go, I'm just going to take a slide from that. Again, I think it always helps turning things into numbers, so if we think pentatonically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 to 5. And then just repeat that, or maybe do that, 4, 5, 4, 1 again. And then I do the same thing in the 3rd note spot. And then that's really easy to kind of just throw in anywhere. It doesn't even have to be over like a minor chord. You just be playing in A. of that was just from that 2, 3 notes tops from there. I really love the sound of double stops. Something like that where you play 2 notes at the same time. So let's take, again, we'll go 9 on the D and G string to 7. And then again, if I know I can do this in the 2 chord spot, then I can do the same thing 2 frets higher. So I'm just moving this up, A. Okay, so that's just one really, really simple way to think of like, okay, the 2 and the 3 have these things going on, right? So I want you to practice that. Just anything you do in this position, just do the same thing 2 frets higher, no matter what it is. Even if it's on the higher strings. Always going to resolve back there. So now I want to talk about the sponsor of today's video, Original Grain. This is not the first video I've done with these guys. These guys are awesome. They make excellent watches. I just recently did one on a collaboration they did with Bob Marley. I think that one turned out super, super cool. This is actually a collaboration with Toyota and the TRD Pro Racing team. It's really cool. So this watch is actually designed after the grille of one of their cars. And there are so many cool features about it. So I just want to show you some close-ups. Not the least of which, the case that it comes with. Like, look at this. It comes with like a compass, some stickers, a multi-tool, another band, and this is like a hard shell, you know, Pelican style case that is like indestructible. So that's cool. They do a lot of other cool things too. Like for every watch they sell, they plant a tree. They work a lot with different veteran groups. I've done some stuff with Taylor guitars in this watch too, because what they'll do, why it's so important that they find these partners is because they can actually use materials and stuff to not be wasteful. So like they'll do like old like aged barrel stuff with like different whiskey companies. They used like a lot of that palm wood with the Bob Marley thing. They used like a lot of reclaimed wood from the Taylor thing. So it's really cool because, you know, they're all about sustainability and efficiency, and it just like looks amazing. This is probably like the sharpest looking watch that like I've ever actually worn. I love this thing. They've been around for 11 years and they are on track to plant 1 million trees in 2025. So again, they're running a big sale right now. You can get an extra 10% off using my affiliate code. So definitely do that because it's the cheapest you'll ever be able to get one of these watches, and makes a perfect gift. Huge fan of Original Grain. It's actually made me start wearing watches more, just because I don't know. I love the look of it, and I love being able to support a cool company that also supports me. So definitely helps the channel out if you click the link in the description. And let's get back to the lesson. All right, so we've got these 2 minor chord spots. I think another interesting way to approach this is as just a chord in general. So like a minor 7 chord, my favorite minor 7 chord voicing, rooted on the low E string, is this one right here. So we can just do the same thing. 7, skip the A string, 7, 7, 7, and that goes all the way down to 9, skip the A string, 9, 9, 9. So that's just using chord voicings in combination with licks from the scale to make some really cool stuff. So now let's talk about how we can use the major components of the chord scale to help us out too, right? So remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the major chords are on 1, 4, and 5. The first thing that we're going to do to exploit these areas is to do this little run. A really super simple arpeggio. My favorite major arpeggio is just 5, 7, 9, down a string, 7, 7. Just like that, right? Now, if we want to, we can even make it more pentatonic, a 5-note run, like that. 5, 7, 9, 7, 9, 7, D, right? We can do that for any of the other chords too, for 4 and 5. And then we can just play a whole chord progression like that instead of just playing A to D to E, A, D, E. We can go A, D, right, to D, back to A. So right there is combining one arpeggio and then one kind of like double stop riff, just to find the common tones or the common kind of shapes and ideas between just all the chords in the key, right? And the next thing we could do is we could go down to this, which is the natural minor, F sharp minor, where the minor scale would be. Again, we could do the other thing where we just have the regular minor pentatonic. If we want to, we could even think of going back up here, just to kind of expand what we're talking about. It's the exact same thing, right? So anything that we do with these chords here, remember the... Sometimes it's easier to kind of go backwards instead of going higher up the neck, even though... The reason that I like kind of going backwards to do the same shapes is because once you do start rooting on the A string for the minor, then we have to compensate for the B string, which isn't a big deal. It's something that you should do, but it's something that eventually your ears are going to kind of take over and really just help out with itself. So when I do this, see for B's position, right? I'm just sliding in, and I'm going into that fifth, which I can repeat here for the C sharp minor. But if I want to do it for the F sharp, I just have to compensate. Or I can go up here, right? So what's really cool about that is you can follow maybe each chord voicing up with that same riff. So for example, we got C sharp, F sharp, B, C sharp, or down here. See how that works? When I go down here, I can do the same thing, but now I gotta use my middle finger. But the same principle applies because it is the same lick, the same riff, okay? So now what I want to do is I want to kind of do a chord progression that I use all of the chords in this progression. And then I want to jump into the commonalities between the 2 and the 3 chords, minor pentatonic for each one, right? It can be double stops, it can be just different like kind of pentatonic-y riffs. But what we're going to do is we're going to have chord progressions that go ascending, the 1 to the 2 to the 3 chord, and then descending the 6 to the 5 to the 4 chord. And again, what's even easier is you can do it like this. These are an easy way to play 6, 5, 4. In fact, we've already played these, but remember, as minor 7 chords. So that could be just another connection, another thing in common, that the 2 and 3 as minor 7 chords are essentially the 4 and the 5 chord with a different root note that stacks the chord in a way that makes it minor, right? So again, even though you might think that major and minor are wildly different because we have established their class as being different, I think there's like a lot of value in just seeing this as like, okay, this is yeah, for sure, this is a major chord, but then when I add a different root note, it really kind of flips the whole thing, and now I've restacked everything to make it minor, right? Just like that. So we got the 1 chord. 3, 2, actually we'll go up. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. 6, 5, 4, 1, 1, 3, 2. And again, you can kind of just have like hours of practice just kind of exploring through different things. but as long as you land on another chord in between them, I think it actually really helps a lot, right? So it's just a good way to never get lost. Just like you'll never get lost if you have a watch with a compass that is partnered with Toyota. Come on, you're good to go no matter where you are. And with this case, I'm so enamored by just good cases for things. I feel like a lot of times I'm like way more excited about the case than like the product itself. So again, shout out to Original Grain and TRD for this bad boy. I'm stoked. Also, I have a hard time putting other stuff in cases that it doesn't come with, right? That's a great case. I will never use that for anything other than transporting this watch, which I don't need to if I'm wearing it. But again, that's besides the point. It's good to have the option. Know what I'm saying, right? So we've got that. We've got this arpeggio. Let's find a way to run all the arpeggios into the licks, right? So maybe we start out by going. That's like such a good warm-up exercise that you could do in any key. I just did the 1 chord, the 4, the 5, and then I kind of just did a little riff in what I'm thinking of as the 3rd position minor pentatonic, right? Again, not the 3rd position of the pentatonic scale, but the 3rd scale degrees, C sharp minor pentatonic, and I connect that back to each other, right? So again, chord, 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 and then that puts me, and then I can slide back. And then that slide right there, I think is a very underrated thing we probably don't talk enough about. Being able to slide back on the A string and then end up on the E string. And it's really just kind of like a slide of your pointer finger, and then like you just kind of push it over, right? 5, 4, and again, all that stuff just comes from these like really simple shapes. So we've got so much in common. Let's just real quick do it in a different key. Let's do it in the key of F sharp major. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just kind of make up something kind of fancy sound, and we'll start with the 6 chord. 6, 2, 1, right? And then a riff. See what I'm doing there? 6, 2, 1. And then I'm just going into the 2nd position. And then just double stopping through minor pentatonic, okay? So all it is, arpeggio, minor pentatonic, and then just let those cool little double stops just repeat 2 frets higher. Have you ever heard a sexier thing in F sharp? And again, all of it brought to you in line and on time by Original Grain. I love having a watch sponsorship. This is like so cool. And again, super easy to take these off. I used to get these like really messed up back when I had my early watch era, and I would put it on and I'd be like, ah. These are just like so easy to take on and off. Get it going. Put it back in the case. You're good to go. Like I said, extra savings using the affiliate link in the description. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comment section. I will talk to you all soon.